Hi, Joel Rollins here for Rave Radio on the final night of setup before Infocom 14, and I'm standing here with Bill Mullin of Starin. Bill and I have tried to have this conversation for several days now. We actually, through things like, we had a video conference where they power washed my building and Bill's dog barked and et cetera. And we finally realized that we had so much to talk about, we wanted to get together and talk here. Bill has a great vision for the future of collaboration, and something that I, as most of my listeners will know, believe in rather passionately. So Bill, thanks for being with us.
Good to be here.
Now, what are we standing in front of?
This is one of 5 different stations we have from WowVision. It's their Collab8 platform, and that means there are other versions of what you see here in different configurations. Sometimes it's a matter of what peripherally goes around it. Sometimes it's a matter of, is it operating as a standalone system, or is it operating a little more as an ecosystem with other Collab8s being able to have combined capabilities.
Which combined capabilities, kind of the nature of collaboration. Yeah. Why don't you take us through a little bit of how you think this plays in?
One of the things worth noting is that collaboration truly is a behavioral phenomenon, not strictly a technology phenomenon. WowVision provides a set of tools and capabilities that are, in my estimation, the greatest set of tools available today. And those tools are able to create new ways of working. So it's not only what the tools do for you, in as much as what they do to you, to improve your own ability to convey, communicate, illustrate ideas, all that sort of thing. So let me show you one particular function of that. Of course, WowVision will do up to 12 different participants in a single session. Now you can have as many people in the session, but 12 of them can share their screen up to a couple screens. The essence is that the technology facilitates what people need for advanced communications, ultimately. It's really not about the meeting anymore. We went through the presentation era. And during that time, it was basically a single person having something to communicate to a room. And oftentimes that was the audience, okay? And collaboration truly means interaction. It truly means a shared experience. So we have to think behaviorally, okay? We can't just think in terms of what the technology is doing to allow a couple people to present. That's one thing. But once you get into true collaboration, then sets of people are able to intertwine. They're able to have a mashup. They're able to have the ability to put a collage of different ideas together to form a greater mindset of what they want to accomplish. So with this technology, you're looking at WowVision here. With this, it really facilitates the ability to have greater tools, and what you do with those tools is one thing, but what those tools do to you is another.
So are you saying that the adoption of collaborative technologies within an organization has the power to foster cultural changes in that organization?
Ultimately, we better. Because that's exactly what our customers and the world is looking for. They want the ability to systemically change how people work together, study together to accomplish. There's a difference between knowing and doing. It's often referred to as the knowing-doing gap. And in every organization, whether it's the educator who's looking to make sure I can impart the knowledge to you, that's the knowing part. The doing part is, what do you take with that individual unique knowledge that you've gathered and apply it to the world, and how does it benefit you? Same thing in any workplace. So we're out for that result of affecting how people interact, how you and I can come to an understanding. And collaboration is that method. So we can use our own tools to get to where we need to convey to the world. Here's how you can behaviorally improve your ways of illustrating your point, ways of getting consensus among a group, shared visions, all that kind of thing.
You know, you and I had a long talk about the fact that both of us use a lot of collaborative tools. And you really wanted to show this one as your favorite. Talk to me about what we're looking at here.
Well, this is one of about 5 stations that we have here. This happens to be our 4K station. So WowVision has 2 outputs. You can have 4K displayed on the output. And obviously that's to give you a greater pixelscape so that when you have 4 different computers up there, you can maintain the integrity of the original HD screen here in its particular quadrant or area. So that's our 4K display here. It happens to have a WaveX overlay over top of a JVC 4K 84-inch display.
It's really quite beautiful.
So we have, that's just basically a screenshot that we decided to put up to create some impact. But ultimately, it really is about having multiple screens shared because we can have up to 12 different screens shared in a WowVision environment. So we have several different environments. One is another podium environment where an instructor could be at a podium and he's on his view and able to mark up and illustrate and have a mirrored, with the second output, he can have that up on the screen. And we have others back here in the corner is an OPS version. So we're available as an appliance, and we're also available as software that you can put on an OPS platform.
So as we discussed in our long conversation last weekend, we've both used an awful lot of collaborative tools. What makes, and your choice by far was WowVision, what makes it better than the other things that we see in the market?
Well, again, it starts to transcend presentation into collaboration and that shared experience. So let's take a document and drag it over to what we call our cloud. And that cloud, of course, right now by default is the shared drive on the Collab8. But it can also be any designated mapped drive that you want to have.
So what we're looking at here on this screen is now being shared from this computer.
It was the original file on this computer. We brought it up to the Collab8. So now the individuals who are in the session can go to their toolbar and start Collab. And you'll see my cursor come up here. So there's cursor number 1. And I can start to change content there. Another individual, let's say from the iPad, he can start his collaboration. And of course, iPads don't have a mouse. So therefore, we basically created a virtual mouse. So here, this individual gets to come up here. And now we have 2 folks who can start to contribute. And we can do that throughout everyone in the entire session. So everybody can say, well, that's a great idea, but what if that number happened to be this? How would that change the overall view?
So the ability for how many people to do this?
I'd have to refer to my Dr. Dinesh, who's in back here, and ask him to come into the scene for a second, because he can fill in some details. How many can we get here, Dinesh? Well, you can have
As a matter of fact, if you'd like to introduce Dinesh and who he is, we can have you to continue with this. Well, Dinesh, thank you. All yours.
Thank you.
Dinesh is the creator and, in fact, the man who has facilitated much of the development for the WowVision Collab8 platform. And since you asked a specific question, how many different people can be in the session and start collaboration with the document?
Well, actually, if you look at it, there's no real number, but here it can be up to 250 people who are connected in the session. So with 250 people connected, all of them, if they really want to come up, they can come up. So
we just went from collaboration to chaos.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but if you look at it, for real collaboration to happen, I think a good number will be around 8, 12, 15. That's already too much. But if you have a display like this, a 4K, you can certainly have a larger number. So maybe, simultaneously you can have 20 or 30 people collaborating at the same time. And that collaboration can happen from their own respective devices. So it's a true BYOD culture today. People can bring in their iPads, as you can see, It can be on a mobile device, let's say an iPhone for that matter, an Android, a Mac, a PC, any flavor of PC, any flavor of Mac, anything, all can be wirelessly communicating in the same session. So same thing can be done by this user too. He can just click Start Collaboration, and as he rolls up his computer's mouse screen, as you can see, his name with a different color cursor pointer appears on the same session. So if suppose Bill was doing an editing of this cell, I could actually just use my computer's mouse and change that cell too. So for example, we can just make the screen larger, and now as we can all see, I can go up to a particular cell and start editing that cell. So let's say I'll say his room, and the same session of this editing can be further continued by a different device. Now that's true collaboration. That means you can do things in real time and achieve results much faster.
But Dinesh, what if I'm not necessarily a participant? I came into the meeting where the key contributors were going to mark up this document, and I just want to see the document and save it.
Well, your wish is my command. You could actually do the view. Yeah, you can do a view main screen. So the system has something called view main display. Whatever is happening on that 4K can now be viewed on any other device in the session. So this makes it very unique, because it's not only about being and participating there, but you can also be a passive collaborator in that sense. You can be sitting behind, watching what it is. You can now make your own annotation so that you don't disturb everyone who's already highlighting, marking, and doing things there. But you can make your own annotation and save it for your own reference tomorrow. The savings can be done on a JPEG mode, or you can go in a PDF mode and just save that file for further reference. So that again makes it very unique. At any time anyone wants, he can just come up and he can display his screen. The screen goes in real time to the main display. This is just a 1080p screen. It's just been upscaled. Another user can come into the session from an iPad, and he can also be presenting side by side along with the main screen. So now you've got an iPad, you've got a PC, you can also have the Mac or any other device for that matter. But you can also do the annotation part, as I can see, right? So
this allows us to come up and act with the board.
Yeah, so you already have that now.
And begin to make some annotation comments. You can say, pay particular attention to this here. And this is, an instructor could, point out specific points of interest. Somebody could put together an action plan. It can be clipped. So it has all the standard whiteboarding features that you might imagine. You go in and grab this area and decide to put it into the current documents page within our whiteboard space. So this could be a running set of meeting notes, collaboration notes, page by page throughout the set.
And Bill, I understand that you had an exciting meeting just before this.
Oh yeah, we were happy to have announced that System Contractor News awarded us the Collaboration Software Product of the Year. And that comes with a lot of hard work on Dinesh's and my part to forge a market, and it really is a major contribution by way of our partners, our champion dealers, those who've been out there really being champions for what we have here, because it's something that you have to see to understand. You have to witness some of these functions for people to go, we've been wanting to do that. In fact, when we were showing video at a major car company, the video they paused, we annotated over, and they went, that's exactly what we want for video coming from our proving ground, so that we can point out details and save those guys. So, it's a kind of a experiential thing,
Well, thank you for this brief but interesting look at the now award-winning Collab8. Thanks, Bill.